Welcome back to the Blackletter podcast. We set out to create an entertaining and exciting podcast about law and business. Blackletter, the name, comes from the Gothic typeset. Over time, Blackletter became the only font that English law books were printed in. It made it harder for kind of the common person to understand what the English law books said. Blackletter came to represent something that was law, that was set in stone, that was sort of old and a well-settled fundamental principle of law. We're here to demystify black-letter law. We're here to demystify things that happen in business and law and where those two meet. And I hope you have fun listening. Welcome back to another episode of the Blackletter podcast. Mark, welcome back. Thanks for joining us the last two episodes. This episode, I'm going to ask you just to lay it out. What are the three big learning points you've had throughout your career that you'd like to share with budding entrepreneurs, budding lawyers, non-budding lawyers, people who are retiring, whatever it is, share away.
It's a great question. And I think it's really, I do have a lot of this content at a much more granular level on the blog, but look, it's three things, and you've done the same thing, Tom. So this isn't going to be news to you, but you have to have a plan, right? Know where you want to be, and how you get there might be completely different from the plan, but you got to have a plan. You got to be persistent. And then probably the biggest thing is you got to be patient. So many young professionals and young lawyers come to me and, they want right now to be the VP or the boss. Same thing at a law firm, building a book of business and aviation law took me 3 to 5 years. The purposeful part of it was I would go to conferences and figure out who I was going to meet there. And then I would go again the next year and go again the following year and build those relationships, right?
Yep. Long tail. So yeah, I don't know, is that three pieces or one? So you've got to have a plan, you've got to be persistent, and you've got to be patient. So would you say it's the three P's? Plan, persistence, patience, or P cubed?
Yeah, you can add a footnote and say purposeful, but no, you're exactly right. I mean, here's the great one on the persistence, right? I remember when I was practicing in Charleston, I was trying to get some business from American Airlines. My real good friend was there. He was a former Navy JAG guy. He came back to me and said, Mark, you're not admitted in DC, and the general counsel wants somebody admitted in DC. I said, you got to be kidding me, because I said, okay, I got it. But you know what I did? I got admitted in DC. I put it on the website. I traveled back and forth to DC. And 2 years later, he called me up and said, hey, I think we've got some work for you. So, that's the persistence and patience. Don't let the door shut on you. Figure out how to open them.
That's fantastic. Great. Well, gosh, Mark, if I don't know if you have anything else, but that's what I was looking for. Your three, pieces of advice. So plan, persistence, and patience. And I guess you'd say purposeful planning, purposeful persistence, and purposeful patience. If you just want to make it fully alliterative, you can have that. Maybe you could put that on your blog and say everything's purposeful, and it's the three Ps. I don't know.
Be the 3P plan. Yeah.
I'm not the marketing person. I'll defer to Amy on that, who I know you know as well. But
she's been great.
I do like the 3P thing. I think that's a good subtitle for your website. So, well, thank you for joining us, Mark. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you, audience, once again for listening to the Blackletter podcast. And if you're watching it, for looking at our ugly mugs, or maybe Mark's beautiful face and my ugly mug once again. We'll see you next time on the Blackletter podcast. Download us wherever you get your podcasts. See us on YouTube if you like watching. Thanks a lot. That's all for today's episode of Blackletter. Thanks again for listening. Join us next time when we talk about more Blackletter issues in creative ways. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and check out our website at blackletterstudios.com.